Buenos dias, everyone. This is Xintong. I'm the host of today's online panel, and welcome everyone to today's online panel on sustainable finance, sponsored by the Association of Avocado Exporting Producers and Packers of Mexico, acronym APEAM. Our discussion today will focus on how our association can address pressing environmental challenges through the World Economic Forum set financing model and insights from the Soil and Water Outcomes Fund, or acronym SWOF, a program initiated by the Iowa Soybean Association based in the Midwest United States. First of all, thank you both for our experts for joining this APAM-sponsored panel today. Let me introduce Kathy, a sustainable finance expert from the World Economic Forum, and also Rohan from the Soil and Water Outcomes Fund. Our panelists will explain the model, share best practices from experience, and provide tailored recommendations to our association. Now, before we get started, let's begin with some facts that associate with avocado farming. Well, avocado farming has driven significant economic growth in Mexico. It also brings substantial environmental and social costs, such as deforestation and water scarcity. Studies predict that if these issues go unchecked, avocado suitable land in Mexico could shrink by over 70% by 2050, posing threats on future avocado production and ultimately financial risks to APAM. Despite our ongoing sustainable efforts in the green agenda, new robust approaches are imperatively needed to reduce these foreseeable risks. That's why we have invited an expert from WEF to describe a breakthrough sustainable agricultural financing model, and also an expert from the Soil and Water Outcomes Fund to share the model's successful implementation. Now, before I continue, let's go back to our experts. Can each of you briefly introduce your role and how it relates to sustainable finance?
Sure, thank you, Xintong. At WEF, we developed financing solutions to help agriculture sectors transition to sustainable practices. Today, I'll focus on how our breakthrough financing model can be tailored to APAM's needs in supporting Mexico's avocado farmers.
Hello, everyone. I work with the Soil and Water Outcomes Fund, a program that offers financial incentives to U.S. farmers based on measurable environmental resources. I will share how our model works and the practical steps APAM can take to adopt similar strategies.
Thank you both so much. Now let's start by exploring the WEF financing model. Kathy, could you explain how this model is structured and why it is effective?
Definitely. The WEF financing model is designed to support farmers transitioning to sustainable practices by addressing two key needs, funding and coordination. Here's how it works. The approach of ecosystem service monetization provides a market foundation for ecosystem services like carbon capture and water conservation. Companies, governments, and other entities that benefit from these environmental services contribute funding, which directly supports farmers. This can be structured through upfront and performance-based payments, providing financial support tied to measurable environmental benefits. The second key feature is the importance of coordinating mechanism and collaborative financial support. Our model coordinates resources from diverse financial sources, including banks, insurance providers, and government bodies. This coalition helps to aggregate funds and share risk across stakeholders, ensuring that farmers have access to loans, insurance, and technical assistance necessary for sustainable farming. For APEAM, this model offers a framework to attract new partners and secure reliable funding, and we will provide a detailed recommendation later.
Thank you so much. Now let's turn to how this model is being implemented on the ground. Rohan, could you please share Swap's successful experience in adopting this model?
Certainly, SWOF functions as a central coordinator, bringing together funding and support to help U.S. farmers adopt sustainable practice. Our approach closely mirrors the WEF model in several ways. Firstly, we use a two-step payment system. Farmers receive an upfront payment upon enrollment to cover initial costs and a second payment after outcome verification. This structure ensures farmers are rewarded for measurable environmental improvement, incentivizing them to stick with sustainable practice. Secondly, instead of traditional offset market, SWF uses an insetting model, where companies within the supply chain directly purchase environmental service like water quality improvement and carbon sequestration from farmers. This builds stronger relationships as buyers benefit directly from the environmental gains tied to their own value chains, fostering long-term commitment. It is also through this model that SWOF can secure the buyers even before registering new farmers to sustainable farming practice. Thirdly, we partner with a broad network of buyers, including corporations like PepsiCo and local government like the City of Ames, which provides both funding and technical expertise. By pooling these resources, we address farmers' financial need and provide technical assistance through local agronomists and grower associations.
Thank you for the detailed explanation. Now let's discuss the proposed recommendations for APEAM. Let's start with the first one, which is expanding APM's network for resilience. Kathy, I know you've mentioned the critical role of the coordinating mechanism, which requires this network expansion. Could you perhaps talk a little more on how APM could achieve that?
Sure, absolutely. To create a resilient support system, expanding APEAM's network is essential. Currently, APEAM's primary partnerships focus on export regulations. By adding sustainability-focused stakeholders, APEAM can ensure diverse funding sources and technical expertise. For example, APEAM could collaborate with Mexico's Secretariat of Agriculture and Rural Development, which is SADR, to access public capital, which is funding under the Program for Sustainable Rural Development. This partnership would encourage government support for sustainable practices, promoting both environmental and economic goals. APEAM should also consider partnering with financial institutions, such as funds instituted in relationship with agriculture, which is FIRA, and Capitalization and Investment Fund for the Rural Sector, which is FOSER. Both banks have indicated their priorities in sustainability in their annual reports. Additionally, partnering with corporations like Cargill, Target, and Walmart, who have committed to reduce emissions within their supply chains, could provide ecosystem service buyers. These partnerships will allow APEAM to facilitate funding and ensure sustained demand for sustainable avocado production.
Thank you, Kathy. Now, Rohan, you have mentioned the importance of coming up with accurate reward estimates, which is how these two installment upfront and upfront payments for farmers work. Now, can you speak to how APM could work towards an accurate monetization of the sustainable outcomes?
Certainly, APM could take a data-driven approach to monetizing environmental benefits, just as we do at SWOF. To accomplish this, APM would need to establish a measurement, reporting, and verification system. This system tracks outcomes like carbon capture, water conservation, and deforestation prevention, enabling APM to attract buyers who found this improvement. Additionally, APM could leverage its partnership with MHAIA and Avocados from Mexico to develop tools that quantify these outcomes. This would create transparent, verifiable data that can be sold as carbon insetting or offsetting service to corporations within Avocado's supply chain. Establish an ecosystem service market will give APM more control over funding sources, ensuring long-term financial support for sustainable practice.
Thank you. Both of these recommendations are very impactful. Lastly, I have a question, like what role do policy modification play in APM strategy?
Policy support would significantly enhance APAM's efforts by working with government agencies to secure tax incentives, grants, and subsidies. APAM can ease farmers' transition to sustainable practices. These policies will reduce the financial strain on farmers and demonstrate government commitment to sustainability, which encourages further investment from the private sector.
Thank you both for these actionable insights. Today's discussion have highlighted the WEF financing model's potential to attract diverse stakeholders, fund sustainability, and reward farmers for positive environmental outcomes. This slide is a summary. By expanding its network, adopting data-driven monetization methods, and advocating for supportive policies, APAM is well-positioned to transform Mexico's avocado industry sustainably. Thank you again to our panelists and everyone here for your commitment to a sustainable path forward. I hope this panel discussion has brought some insights to build a more resilient and environmentally responsible future for both APM and Mexico's avocado farming. Together, we can make a lasting impact on the environment and on our communities. Gracias. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.